Hey guys, this is Jay again from Visions of Reality. Thanks for tuning in. This is day 4 of 12 days of Visions of Reality. Now this episode I'm going to be discussing the third track off my first Visions of Reality EP, and that is, or LP really, and that is the song The Killer Awakes featuring Alex Scruggs. So this was the last song that one of the last songs I finished on this. And when I was telling everybody on my Facebook friends and my Dolus bandmates, that I was going to be releasing this album, Alex had reached out to me and said, "Hey, can I do a guitar solo on one of your songs?" And at this point, I had already pretty much finished everything. I mean, I had really finished everything. All the recording parts were done. And I was like, well, I'm already done with all the songs except for The Killer Awakes, and I think it was one other song. I'm like, as far as like mixing it and mastering and all that stuff. And I said, you know what? Actually, because I was planning on not having anybody do anything on this album, just all 100% me. But since, I'm in a band with Alex, and, he's a good friend of mine, he's helped me out with some things I've asked for in the past. And we had some great conversations. I was like, you know what? I'll do this. I'll make an exception to that for you. And I'm not trying to be conceited over here. Like, it was more of like, I just wanted it to be all me. And I said, you know what? It'd be cool to have, someone, especially that I'm in a band with, be featured on this album. So he came in and did the solo really a week and a half before I finally finished everything. It was a very last minute addition. But the song itself is perfect for his style of playing. He likes to play a lot of thrashy stuff, and so do I. Definitely the guy in the band that would probably mix well the most as far as any side projects I do if he was ever to join. I think his style would mix the most with what I do. Maybe Connor as well. Yeah, this song is a song that I wrote probably 2007, maybe 2008, somewhere in the late 2000s. And I have a whole demo of it. It's fully recorded, and I didn't have any lyrics to it until a few weeks ago, really, maybe a month ago. And it was just the recording of the song, and pretty much everything is intact from the original recording. Everything that I wrote about it, and I like to write a lot of, as you'll see when listening to this album, not a lot of the times the riffs, they sound like they don't always go together, and that's kind of intentional, but I still think it works. But the initial riff of the song is I don't know what you'd call it. It's not quite thrash, not quite black metal, not quite hardcore metalcore. It's just different, different than the rest of the song. And I don't play it in E either. I play it like E. What is it? F sharp, I think, is the key of the song, possibly F sharp, I think. Yeah, because so I play it on the second fret, and I'm not very good with memorizing notes and stuff like that. I play by ear, so I'm pretty sure it's an F sharp. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not played at E, so it's kind of hard to play. Maybe it is F sharp. I don't know. It's F or F sharp. Anyways, I'm second guessing myself, but it's not played in E. I don't play it on the open E string. I don't think I even play that note anywhere in the entire song. So it's kind of hard to play because I have to kind of go, move my hand around a lot, and I had to kind of find a way to do it. And I wasn't going to tune the whole guitar up a half step or a step or whatever the case may be, because there's some other parts of the song that I want to be able to play regular notes. But now that I'm thinking back, I probably could have done it, but I was too lazy to figure it out. I was so used to playing it a certain way my whole life, or at least the past 18 years. So I just decided to keep it the way I did it. Just kind of refactored my hand position to make it sound the best I could. But The Killer Awakes is all about a man who is a killer, obviously, and he rapes and he robs and steals and abuses people and kills people eventually. He's a crazy maniac, crazy serial killer, rapist, and he goes through his life, and he doesn't care about his actions, no remorse. Finally gets caught, gets sent to prison, and rots away, even though he repents of his bad deeds and changes and becomes a better man. While in prison, his past deeds are going to haunt him the rest of his life. No one's going to believe that he's a changed man or be willing to give him any kind of forgiveness, let alone a second chance. But then he wakes up and he realizes that whole life was just a bad dream that he had. And then he ponders, the fate of those who are killers in real life and how they wish they could wake up from the bad dream like he did. So it's a very, it's kind of very subtly, very subtle. Because in my mind, A Course in Miracles states that this whole life is really a dream and our real home is heaven. This is just a kind of experience that we're having of separation from God. So ultimately, his hope that these people are also, this is not real. This whole experience is more or less a simulation, right? I'll get into more of that in a little bit. Will eventually be hopefully founded that this whole experience is is not real in the sense of fundamental reality. But that's it's something that haunts me sometimes. I find myself watching prison documentaries and watching documentaries about killers and psychopaths, and just curious like what makes them how they are, and the thought of that could have been me. I could have been born into an environment where I was abused and I was hurt and I was maybe molested or raped or something like that as a child, or I was had some series of bad, unfortunate upbringing scenarios and events that happened in my life that could have turned me to be that kind of person. Any one of us, right? Could have been born into a situation, right? Nature and nurture, where we could have turned out to be someone like that. But thankfully we weren't. Thankfully we had, if we had a bad upbringing, we got the right healing, maybe the right therapy. God maybe helped us get through it and heal from it. Whatever the case may be, you got through it and didn't end up repeating the cycle of abuse and torture and pain that some people unfortunately do to others. But just a thought of, man, that could have been me, and that's the thought that the first person who's singing the song, that kind of person feels when they wake up from the dream is, man, that could have been me. That really could have been me. Just roll the dice. And that's something I think people don't think about. I like to get philosophical with my songs. I don't write necessarily songs that are kind of abstract. I like to talk about real situations and events that could happen and kind of make a story out of it. So a lot of times you will notice that the last chorus of my songs, when I do the reprise of the chorus, a lot of times has different lyrics, because usually a song starts off kind of on a negative track, and then it kind of goes into a more either deeper meaning type of explanation, or some kind of redemption arc, whatever you want to call it, for the character or the scenario. And although it's not quite a total redemption in the truest sense of the word of the character, because he wasn't actually a killer, it's a dream, but it's just a thought of almost like not necessarily feeling bad for the perpetrators, but kind of like realizing that you could have been a perpetrator yourself given the right set of circumstances. So that's kind of the whole meaning behind The Killer Awakes. And it's cool to have that amazing solo. I told Alex to come up with a solo that was kind of like Marty Friedman, what he would do in Megadeth, things like that. And he pulled it off very nice, and it works perfectly for the song. So I'm looking forward to everybody hearing it, and hopefully the lyrics make you introspective as well as they did for me. So thank you. God bless.